Winter arrived in full force here in Vancouver last month, with temperatures at least 10 degrees below normal. We saw huge accumulations of snow throughout the Lower Mainland as the city came to a grinding halt. Our ski season got off to a great start. And then it warmed up and all the snow melted. In fact, I've been back to running in shorts and a t-shirt these past couple of weeks. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that spring had arrived early. There's bare ground again on the local ski hills where it's been raining, with freezing levels rising above 2,000 meters. But winter does typically follow a similar pattern here, with a second large snowfall around mid-February. So fingers crossed that we'll have a decent ski season yet. Last weekend, a group of us had a cabin booked up at Manning Park, a couple of hours away. So I'd hoped to bring you guys some footage of our backcountry skiing adventures there. But the conditions weren't great, so we decided to stick to the resort instead, which actually turned out to be a lot of fun.
Excited. It's a nice day.
The next day, we set out for a run in the snow. I've been getting asked a lot for recommendations on traction devices. And I don't always wear traction when running in fresh snow, but these are super important for icier conditions, like what we ended up facing after a few freeze-thaw cycles. Now, there's a few good options on the market, but my preference has always been the Trail Crampon Ultras from a Vancouver-based company called Hillsound Equipment. They're similar to the more widely available Katulas, but they have an extra strap over the top, which I find keeps them much more secure, particularly when running downhill. These will allow you to run on the iciest trails and roads with complete confidence. Something I've been thinking a lot about recently is the idea of seasons, and how the weather, particularly here in Canada, ends up almost dictating and forcing us to think of our running in the same way. Audrey and I have really begun turning our attention to skiing in the winter in order to give our legs a bit of a break while maintaining our fitness. But in the past, I used the winter to shift back to road running and to work on my speed, usually by targeting a shorter, maybe 10K or half marathon race, before building volume again with much more elevation change as I headed back into the spring. But no matter your approach, the change of seasons tends to force you to macro-periodize and to shift gears. I can only imagine living in a place like Southern California that I'd probably end up overtraining by pretty much doing the same thing all year round. I'm hopeful that I'll still get a chance to bring you some backcountry skiing adventures, as I said. We did do our usual Christmas morning ski up to Brockton Point here on Mount Seymour, despite the fact that it was raining. But we decided to skip out on our annual tradition of bringing in the new year camping on top of Mount Seymour, and instead opted for a New Year morning ski where we were treated to perfect weather.
Oh yeah, you have to film this.
Is it awake?
Good boy, Jake.
Happy New Year.
Cheers.
I'm excited to bring you my plans very soon for 2023. Audrey and I have another year full of racing and adventures that we can't wait to tell you about. We're just confirming one or two last details. And I know I probably sound like a broken record at this point, but my series from my race in the country of Georgia is almost ready for publication. So stay tuned for that as well.